All right, we are back. We are live. Welcome again to another broadcast. We're going to be starting here in just a moment. I know I'm starting a little bit later, but listen, we on Arizona time. It's still early for us, so if you're here, welcome. If you're not, you're watching the recording. That's all right, because we're going to zip through these news items today, okay? All right, but either way, I'm glad you're here. And we're going to give people a little bit of time, about a minute or so, and then I'm just going to dive right in. We're going to just get right into it today or this evening, okay? And again, like I said, I know I'm starting a lot later than I normally do, but, you know, it's been a full day for us today here. So I'm just now getting to this. We're going to talk about that. I'm going to touch on the latest on the Uncle Nearest jewelry story. We're going to touch on that. We're going to also talk about what's going on in Altadena. Remember, we did a couple of videos on that. Altadena, California, historically black community. We're going to talk about that. And a few other things. This one, it definitely be, I'm going to keep it tight tonight, okay? All right, I'm just going to go ahead and start. Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, really appreciated and glad that you guys are here. And we're going to go ahead and get started. Yep, 100 degrees right now. The sun is just going down here in the beautiful state of Arizona. And yeah, it's just another warm day, but it was actually cooler early. I went out walking earlier like I always do in the earlier part of the day, and it was pretty nice. But anyway, really quick, did you know that we have a TikTok page? Yeah, we do. And it's one that I haven't been too active on in the past, but, you know, I'm starting to do some things on there, okay? I'm starting to do some things on there. And, you know, I've been sounding off a lot on this whole thing that we just talked about in our last broadcast about, you know, the FBA clown cult. I'm sorry, you are, okay? It's totally different from black Americans, okay? Black Americans, there's plenty of black Americans who already knew this as far as this, because the latest thing right now is the discovery of black people who live in Scotland. I mean, it's like, who doesn't know that, you know? And I was listening to a lot of these people, and the narrative is, well, we knew that black people lived, you know, everywhere, but we just never seen one. They're all over. And if you watch the video that I did in the latest live video I did on this topic, I actually took you all on YouTube and I showed you page after page after page after page after page. They've been out here. They just have a unique culture that's not loud, okay, and not all over the place, okay? They just, you know, do their thing. They live their best life or whatever, and that's it. So anyway, I really sounded off on that, and then some over on our TikTok page. If you want to find our TikTok page, just go on. If you're on TikTok, just do a search for Samba Journey, same name of this channel, and you'll find us, okay? The last post that I posted on there was a question that's been on my mind for some time, and that is, as someone who lives here in Arizona, I have this question, and I said, you know, why is it that when I am out and about, I would say 9.9 times out of 10, when I encounter another, it's usually a black male. Black women, I don't know, because I don't, you know, I say hi at a distance because I don't want them to feel like I'm trying to, you know, get your number or anything like that. So, I, you know, if I see them, if our paths cross, I'll say, hey, how you doing? And then keep it moving. You know what I mean? And but if I see a black male, see, listen, I'm from the East Coast, okay? I grew up in the Northeast, and it's just, you want to talk about Black American culture. I mean, one of the things that it's just the funniest thing that we have within Black American culture particularly for those of us who were born and raised in the Northeast. And I would say for the most part, the East Coast, but especially the Northeast. You know, when a black man sees another black man, what do? Hey, what's up, man? Hey, what's up? I mean, it's just natural. It's like sneezing almost. I mean, you don't even think about it a lot of times. I'm like, hey, what's up? You know, and you just keep going. You know, and I could be, it don't matter what town I'm in. I could be in DC, I could be in, you know, in Richmond, or I could be anywhere, especially, and it becomes more pronounced when you are in a space where you are truly in a minority. Let's say if you're at a meeting, or you're at a part of town where it's mostly white people, and then you see a few black folks, and when you see each other, it's kind of like a vibe check. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. I mean, if there's one thing I could honestly say I truly love about our culture, Black American culture, is that is an element right there that I hope that never goes away. And then when we, you know, life happens, we're all over the place. And then it was one of these moves that my family did. We were living in Florida, in South Florida. And I could immediately tell that I was not in the Northeast anymore, because I would do the vibe check thing when I was, you know, in the part of town where it was a lot of Caribbeans, and it would be nothing. I would get nothing. And so I said, oh, okay. They don't know. They didn't get the memo. They don't have a Jamaican or a Haitian memo on that. So I'll let it pass and keep it moving. I didn't take it personal. I just kept it moving, right? But but it was a clear way of me knowing that, okay, yeah, they're not from here. And that's it. I ain't gone tethers, anything like that. It just, I knew that, okay, y'all ain't from here. And so it was one of the simplest ways you could tell, you know, who's from here and who isn't. And we lived in LA. We lived in LA area for a number of years. I had no problem, literally no problem. Black folks in LA for the most part are just like black folks on the East Coast, you know, and it was just same vibe. I mean, it just didn't feel any difference at all, other than the beautiful weather and the beaches and the palm trees. I mean, that's, you know, but other than that, the people were the people, right? But then when the times that we have lived, because man, you hear my resume tonight, I mean, different places we lived in Colorado. When we lived in Colorado, particularly Colorado Springs, oh, I wouldn't go back there. It's just, I don't know. It's beautiful, beautiful town. I'm not mad at Colorado Springs. It just, I have a funny story. I'd said it was like the black folks I did see there, I called them children of the cornbread. Because all of them were mixed. And I was like, ain't no solid black folks around here? Like none? And then as I continued to live, I started finding where the black folks were, right? But many of them, they were all mixed. And then I realized, I was like, oh, I said, you got military bases around. Oh, I get it. I get it. I said, so this is the Midwest, right? So yeah, these are the children of cornbread in there. But you know, it was, you know, it was strikingly different for someone who lived on both coasts. And it was my first experience living in, I guess that's still considered the Midwest. So I was just kind of like, you know, and so, you know, it was different, right? And so now I live in the Phoenix, Arizona area. And the same thing I experienced up in because we lived in the Denver area too, where I would do the vibe check thing. Hey, what's up? And what I noticed, it wasn't so much as black folks, because there were some black folks, they would pass it, right? But the ones that failed it were typically brothers that were married to a white woman, or they were at least dating one, because they, you know, when I would see them, they would be with their white woman. You know what I'm saying? Now listen, I don't care. That's your choice, or that's your choice. I don't care. You know what I mean? That's you. But, you know, it was, you know, the vibe that I was getting back was, I don't want to acknowledge it. And so at first I was like, okay, don't make this about me. Okay. Don't make this about me, and don't have it where I'm not trying to suggest that the whole world's got to acknowledge me. minds can be anywhere. See, like I said, again, I'm willing to give people plenty of benefit of the doubt. But after a while, it's like, okay, I'm noticing a pattern here. And so that was in Colorado, but here I see it. So 9.9 times out of 10, that's what I experienced. So all of that being said, I actually posted that on TikTok today. And if you want to join the conversation, make sure you go over there. Again, our TikTok page is Samba Journeys. That's what it is. So make sure you check it out. And I'll be posting a lot of stuff on there. And then we got our Samba Tree. If you're interested in that, Samba Tree has one. It's called Official Samba Tree. We did have Samba Tree, but I forgot the username and password. But anyway, Official Samba Tree. Make sure you subscribe to that because we're going to be doing some wonderful things over there too. Okay. As we're moving along, we're going to get to our main stories. I posted on the community page today that, I woke up, the page was up. I told you about our new page called The Black GPT. Well, I posted something there and I was like, okay, fine, another day, whatever. Let me move on to something else. And then it was like a few hours later, I went back to check on something on the page. And guess what? The page was gone, like completely gone. They said they took it down. They said this page violated something, all the scary legalese stuff. I was like, whoa, what did I do? Like literally, there's nothing on there that I don't, there's nothing. And so they, YouTube being YouTube, they send you these very vague emails that don't tell you anything. I literally had to take the email they sent to me, run it through ChatGPT and say, can you interpret this for me? Because I don't know what they trying to say I did. And then they say, yeah, this was a, what was it? A copyright, not a copyright. It was trademark infringement. That's what it was. So come to find out, someone owns the name The Black GPT. And so out of all the other Black GPT pages that are actively on YouTube right now, they picked mine for some reason. And, I'm not going to go off into conspiracy land on that, but that's really interesting to me. This page has just been up for a minute, and out of all the other ones, they're still up, but that one they said they're going to take down. So I said, whatever, which meant that all the conversations I had with people on there, all the subscribers I had on there, gone, all of them gone. And I was looking like, what are we doing? What's going on here? And so anyway, I don't know what happened, but what I do know is that it's gone. So what I did was I recreated a brand new page, and the name of that page is, as soon as it comes up, I'll get it for you. I posted it on our community page. It is called Coming Up. It's coming up after these messages. Okay, hold on. It is coming up. Let me see, view channel. It is called, because y'all, I've been building, creating, and doing all kinds of stuff. Oh, Lord, what's going on here? Okay, here it is. It is called this right here. It is called Black Fact Check. Black Fact Check. That's right. It's called Black Fact Check. So make sure you check this page out. If you want to subscribe, I would love to have you. If not, it's okay. But I'm having to rebuild it. Okay. And the purpose of this page is to take a lot of these, as many of the claims that we make within the Black community, what we call the Black community, the claims that we have been making, and to start really fact checking these things. All right. That's the whole point of the page. But we're doing it where it's because we recognize that attention spans are a lot shorter. They're very short videos. I mean, very short. I'm talking under 10 minutes, and it's just boom, 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 kind of in documentary style. So as you can see, we've already done quite a few there. I uploaded a brand new short over there today. And so just be sure to check that out. And if you have any of the these claims that you've been hearing about for years and years and years, and you've always wondered, is that really true? It's okay to ask if it's true or not. You know what I mean? And what we do is, yes, when you're running these things through ChatGPT, it's not like a regular Google search. It's actually comparing it to the standard is set where it's comparing it to peer-reviewed information. Okay, because I run across quite a few people that says, "Oh, that's the white man's GPT." Okay, is there a different version of it? No, they are pulling from multiple sources, typically that are peer-reviewed, especially when you're getting into stuff like this. Okay, so on the other side of it, you're gonna pretty much have a higher confidence rate on if the claim is true or not. That's the whole point of it. And like I said, again, as you can see, we've already been talking about quite a bit. So be sure to check that out, Black Fact Check, and right here on YouTube, and go ahead and hit that smash that like button. I can't stand when people say that. It's an irritant for me. It really is. That's why y'all never hear me saying that. Anyway, move on. Please like my video. You know, it's one of those things. It's like, I understand why it's said, but the idea of me begging someone to like me is just, I can't. I don't know. I just can't do it. Anyway, Sambatree.com. We're getting to the news, y'all. I'm just getting all this main stuff out of the way here. Sambatree.com. As you know, my beautiful wife and I, we are celebrating our 27th wedding anniversary. That's right. Yes, there are marriages that are still out here that are doing extremely well, where both participants love each other. They're black and they really love each other. And they have beautiful children. Yes, we do exist out here. And out of our marriage, out of our union came this Sambatree. It was built off of our concern, you know, for what we were seeing starting in our own family, and wanted to extend this out to everybody else, because we wanted to turn the tide when it comes to health and wellness amongst people, primarily that looks like us, but anybody's welcome to come to Sambatree.com. Well, anyway, we having a 27th wedding anniversary sale. And all you got to do is, if you want to know exactly what is on sale, when you get to the page, Sambatree.com, just click on the green button there, 27% off. Whoa, 20% off, 27% off. We got everything. So right now you got where is it right here? These are the sea moss, bladderwrack, burdock root capsules, 27% off. Black soap, 20% off. Organic cocoa powder, mullein leaf tea, natural salts, 50/50 pepper, all kinds of stuff. It's all listed right here on all the things that are 27% off. You better jump on it because the sale is wrapping up. And even the classes that we offer right now, 27% off. The book that we put together, the Big Black Book of AI Prompts. If you don't have that, you need to get that one. You need to get that one because it covers everything from helping you to build a business, helping you to build a brand, helping you and how to build AI artwork, because it's not just putting a few words in and that's it. There's a way to do it where your stuff doesn't look generic. And I teach you all of that there, 27% off. Make sure, again, go to the website, Sambatree.com. All right. So anyway, that's it for all the announcements there. And now we're going to go ahead and get into the main stuff here. We're going to first talk about this story about Uncle Nearest. Now, just a recap here. Uncle Nearest is down in Kentucky. Uncle Nearest is a company that was started by an individual who is not a member of the family. This woman is not a member of the family. She was writing a book, according to her story, and she said, hey, let me go visit the family, which she did, got the bright idea and said, hey, I think we should go into business and we need to do I need to continue the legacy of Brother Nearest Green. And that's what she did. With the family's blessings or whatever, she did that. And so anyway, long story short, the business did wonderful. I mean, when you listen to, and I'll be playing a clip here in a moment of people in that whole industry there, Uncle Nearest really stood out and really helped to uplift a lot of the other companies that were in that area, in that industry. Uncle Nearest was really a shining star. They did quite a few things there, right? And so it was doing well, but there has been a turn of events in the industry period. The industry period has taken a beating. Part of it has to do with tariffs. And then there's some other things too that was going on there, right? That's just the industry wide. So it is not just Uncle Nearest. It's the industry period has been suffering quite a bit. But anyway, but what has come out is this company, Uncle Nearest, has been doing some things that unfortunately are a little, kind of shady kind of things going on. Now, what she has been putting out, and I'm going to play a clip for you of her in a moment, is that, hey, I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know, because I'm going to run down the list in a moment. Maybe I'll start off with the video that she posted. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know anything about the fact that our stuff was being underreported or overreported. I didn't know some of the money was being misappropriated. I didn't know anything. That was my CFO. It's the CFO's fault. The moment I heard that, I already knew. I said, okay, because that's standard practice. Anytime when a company gets caught, when there's some misappropriations with funds and all of that, the first thing they do is they go after the CFO and they blame the CFO. The moment I heard that, I already knew. And so I was already shaking my head. I was like, okay, this is not going to be good. It's not going to be good because anytime a bank takes you to court, especially if you're a corporation like a business on that at that size, it's a wrap. Because if they're asking for receivership, it's gone. It's gone. So anyway, let me pull up this video here that she posted today, and we're gonna get into some of the details here of what's going on, just to catch many of you guys up to speed on this story. I think is a very interesting story, and it's something that I think is a very interesting story. I'm very intrigued when I hear business stories and stuff like that, both good and bad, because I think you can learn from all of this stuff here. So anyway, this is Fawn Weaver. She is the CEO of that business. So let me get this up here. Okay, let me close some of this stuff out real quick, y'all. Sorry about this. And then I'm gonna pull up her video, and then we're gonna go ahead and get into this. My apologies. Sorry about that. Let me move this over here. Is this it? Yep, this is it. Okay, so this is Fawn Weaver. Let's take a listen to what she is rallying the troops and telling people what's going on, okay, according to her viewpoint. All right, let's go.
Enemy meant.
Uh-oh, here we go. Switching the audio. Okay, so first thing we already hear, she's going into the scriptures. So, when the Bible's brought up, anytime Negroes start bringing up the Bible, when they got court cases, you already know where this thing going. Anyway, let's take a listen.
What the enemy meant for evil, God meant for good.
Hey!
Y'all know I'm under a gag order because so many have reported it. But here's what I know I can say. 2 points, and make sure to share this since lies tend to spread faster than the truth. Number 1, keep clearing the shelves. Every bottle you move tells our distributors and partners the same thing. We've built one of the strongest and most resilient brands in American history. Number 2, don't believe the fake news. Some reports claim I no longer own Uncle Nearest, that I'm not running it. Let me be clear. I built this company, I own this company, I run this company. And my leadership team, who have all been with me for 6 to 8 years, are right here building alongside me. Our team remains unshaken and unmoved. If that ever changes, you'll hear it directly from me, and I know you will respond accordingly. All major challenges are inevitable in ownership. That's why so many tap out. And my number 1 piece of advice to would-be entrepreneurs is, if you are of the quitting kind, don't start, because entrepreneurialism will give you 100 reasons a day to quit. But strong leadership doesn't panic. It keeps a steady hand and moves forward. From the start, I've shared the ups and downs of building Uncle Nearest. That transparency is a part of my calling. That is what built one of the strongest brand communities in American history. That's why they call me the People CEO. Because I don't just show the gloss, I show the grind, the grit, the gunk. All right, we got those 2 points out of the way. Let's get to the fun part. What y'all are doing across the country. In a year where spirits are down, we're moving in the opposite direction, and we have been for the past year. Illinois, y'all are up 216% this month, 21% year to date. South Dakota, you are up 107%. Florida, 92% this month, 24% year to date. South Carolina, you are up 53% year to date and 48% this month. Texas, you are your own country, and your country is up 44% this month, 34% year to date. Nevada, you're up 38%. New Mexico, you are up 32% this month and 22% year to date. Georgia, you are up 53% year to date, 31% this month. Maryland, you are up 49% for the year and 30% this month. Wisconsin, you are up 25%. Michigan, 29%. Louisiana, 26%. Arkansas, 23%. Delaware, 22%. Tennessee and New Jersey, you are you're almost up 20% in the control states. Y'all are blowing my mind. Your numbers are even before we started clearing the shelves. Virginia, you were already at 54%. Mississippi, you were already up 46%. Montgomery County, you were already up 47%. Utah, 20%. Alabama, roll, tide, roll. You were up 30%. Ohio, up 38%. North Carolina, up 30%. Nebraska and Oklahoma, up 16%. West Virginia, up 12%. And I don't know what's going on in Alaska, but y'all are up 423% this month, 44% for the year. When the shelves restock, don't forget, keep clearing them out. Leave no doubt. Send a loud message that you are behind this brand and the team that built it. Cheers.
Okay. Now, as you can see, and I've said this even in the last broadcast, I mean, she is a very good, spokesperson, and this is a type of person, I mean, just in how she's presenting there, this is someone that if you she can probably sell you ice water in Alaska, you know what I mean? And so that is, you can't even argue against that. Other things I've heard that are very positive is there are people even in the industry that in this one video I'm going to play for you, you're not going to hear that part. But this is a white gentleman who's in the industry, has been in the industry for years, and was saying how she helped him, and there's other people that, like I said, again, you know how they say a rising tide lifts all boats. Well, Uncle Nearest for a moment in time was the rising tide in this industry. You know what I mean? But the other side of it is you gotta behind the scenes. Some people can be very good at selling things, but behind the scenes, when it comes to doing the books, that's just not their thing. And that's understandable. You know what I mean? If you've been in entrepreneurship, as like for us, like we have been, and many others as well, you'll begin to see where your strengths and weaknesses are. Some people are very good at selling things. Some people are good at just give me the numbers. I just want to see the books. That's all. I just love doing the numbers and making sure I'm doing all the numbers correctly. Very seldom will you come across people who can do both. You know what I mean? Some people are good at visionary. They're the visionary of this whole situation, right? Everybody's different, And but it is pretty clear that unfortunately, the backroom stuff doesn't seem like that's her strength. Okay. Not taking anything away from her, but I'm not, but the bank is. Okay. So I'm not taking anything from that. But anyway, just real quick, just a very simple rundown. I'm just going to go through this real quick. Their business on Uncle Nearest, there was over $108 million loan that was given to them. So again, when you hear people say that the whole reason behind all of this is ultimately black people, or rather white people, don't want to see a black woman succeed, all I got to say is they literally gave her 108 million reasons why they believe that she could succeed. So, that's a complete bonk right there. So it has nothing to do with that. Once you're playing with those numbers, it's all about green at the end of the day. They want to make sure that when they give you that kind of money, that you're making sure that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. It doesn't matter what your color is at that point. If they're going to give you that money, that means they believe in you that much. So that's that. And, and so anyway, moving forward, they started defaulting on those loans, right? Now, again, a business that was growing at the rate that hers was growing, one would look at that and say, well, what the heck were they doing? Was it just, if you're growing, that means everything's all right? Well, not necessarily, because again, it goes back to some individuals are good at go, 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 and you're too busy extending and extending and extending, but, home base ain't being established, right? And so that's what it kind of sounds like what was going on here. Why am I saying that? Because we find out that what they're saying, Uncle Nearest, their position is that the CFO overstated barrel inventory, and that her, Miss Font, she was unaware of that. She didn't know. She didn't know about the overstating of the barrel inventory, and you're talking a lot of money with that. And so based off of that, the lenders, so when the barrel inventory was forwarded to the banks, they're like, oh, okay, you got all these barrels? Okay, check, check, check. Okay, so we're going to give you this amount of money. But when the lenders start digging in and they were like, whoa, wait a minute now you saying that you got how many barrels? But I'm here and I'm looking, where are the barrels at? Well, gee, I don't know. Well, you can't tell the bank that's giving you over $108 million, you don't know where their stuff is, because it's going to be their stuff in a moment, because they gave you all that money based off of what you told them, right? So, yeah, so that's basically what happened. They started defaulting. They were actually asked by the judge in the court. They said the judge basically said, it was the legal representation of the bank. And they asked them, they said, is your bank is Uncle Nearest currently solvent? Are you making money? And the answer is that they couldn't answer that, which means that they're losing money. Okay. And so that's not a good sign. So this is why you see Fawn out here telling people to clear the shelves, clear the shelves, clear the shelves, clear the shelves, clear the shelves. Okay, you can do that, but here's the thing. Building something where, now I'm saying this as someone who's been in business for a while, okay? I'm not certainly as successful as this individual here, but there are some foundational things I can tell you. And one of the things I can tell you, especially about the Black consumer, because again, I have almost 20 years with this, probably a little bit more, is that Black consumers, especially, we can be extremely loyal. And so that's why, like, what I do, like for Samba Tree and the other business that we have, we understand that, and we make sure we really prioritize like things like customer service, how we handle things, all of that stuff. And then really, taking that very seriously, you know what I mean? Because we've seen many examples of people who've just, assume that, hey, you're going to support me. We never look at the customers that we get. We never look at y'all as, we appreciate you guys coming to us and purchasing the things that we have, but we want the stuff that you purchase not to be seen as, hey, I just want to support them. That's great, and we do appreciate that. But I don't want you to buy stuff simply because you just supporting me. I want you to buy the things that you actually want. Do you understand what I'm saying? Things that you're actually going to use, things that you're going to actually need. You understand what I'm saying? We ain't going to turn any money away now. I ain't going to lie. But that's really what ultimately what we want to build. We want to produce things. We want to offer things that people actually want and want to use, and not see it as you're giving. It's like a donation. You know what I'm saying? And so that's our strategy when it comes to all of this, right? And so so that's building a brand. That's how you build it, right? So if we were to come out and say, hey, y'all, listen, they about to shut us down, and so we really need y'all to come through. We need you to buy as much as you need to buy on our shelves. Buy. And you're just pushing that over and over. You beautiful Black folks will come through. You will. You guys always just are there. You know what I'm saying? We've never done that, but I'm just saying we've never had an issue like that where we got to beg people, please buy something because I need to make this car payment. You know, we've never had to do that, right? You guys are just there, and we appreciate it so much. And even with dealing with customers, I mean, again, we are a Black-owned business, obviously. And I have to say, this is out of the businesses we've had in the past, we've had very little problems with our customers. Very little. That's why I am so confident when I see a lot of the stuff that, you know, Black folks acting up on you know, on camera and all that stuff with these businesses. I can honestly and truly say that we've never had any serious problems with folks. It's been like a couple, but it's never been like that. But anyway, what I'm saying, because I like bragging on y'all, but anyway, with this, if we were to present something like we were telling people, you got to buy, because we're like that, that will work for a while, but after a while, it's going to die down because after a while, people just get used to it. It's like the boy that cried wolf, right? Because after a while, people just get tired of it. That is good for the short term, but for the long term, that's what the banks are looking. Because see, the banks put long money in this, not short term money in it. They put long money in this, and what they're looking at are the details. And what they're seeing is you have not been able to prove that you can manage a business. You can grow business, but you can't manage it, especially when it comes to our money. That's what's coming out in this whole story here. Okay, that's the other side of it. And so, yeah, that's what happened. So what happened is the bank basically took them to court, said, hey, we want our money. And so they asked the judge, and the judge did approve and said, hey, we're going to have to, I'm going to entering in a process right now where I'm looking to transfer this into receivership. So what she said on there is that, hey, I'm still running things. Not really, you're not, because once your business goes into receivership, there's really very little say that you do have. Okay. So yeah, that wasn't quite true because again, that's what the legal paperwork says. Let me get to this video here. I was actually listening to, that's why I said it's a quite interesting. I really, you know, these are industries like, you know, certain industries that are very interesting to, you know, to learn about. Let me play for you this clip here. Now, these are a group of guys who are in the industry, and they're talking about the situation more specifically. You did hear her mention in the video. She said that she was under a gag order because, you know, she had been on social media just uploading video after video after video after video. And the bank was like, man, can you tell her she need to chill, you know, a little bit. And so, you know, they're talking about the legalities just of that. So with that, let me pull this video up and let's take a listen to these individuals here as they discuss this. And you're going to pay attention to this guy here named Brian right here. Okay. He's a legal analyst guy. So this is someone you definitely want to listen to. This guy here, when he was when I was listening to the conversation earlier, he was saying that how he was talking about how Fawn actually helped him, and you know, he's a good friend of hers, and all of that. So he had a lot of positive to say. So, you know, again, it's a very, very interesting conversation. So hopefully I queued it up where it needs to be. But this is the person that we're going to listen to. He's just going to talk a few minutes about the whole gag order thing.
And to Fawn's response, because I think this is like the most, in my opinion, bizarre thing I've seen out of this. But Brian, give us the legal mumbo jumbo.
Yeah, so quick and dirty on the gag order. So that was entered a day after the hearing. The hearing was August 7th. Gag order was entered on the 8th. It was kind of part injunction. It was basically don't move anything, don't sell anything, don't do anything. You got to wait. Everybody's got to wait till I being the judge, enter the order on whether or not there's going to be a receivership. So that's August 8th. And the order says this order only applies until I enter my receivership order. So then on the 14th, the court entered a receivership order, but it says it went through all these elements about insolvency. The funniest, it's not funny. I shouldn't say funny, but the attorney for Uncle Nearest was asked, is Uncle Nearest solvent? And the court is reciting this in the order and says the attorney couldn't answer it. So yeah, it's insolvent when your attorney can't answer that question. A straight question: is Uncle Nearest solvent? And he couldn't answer it. And it goes through all these other elements about whether to appoint a receiver. It talks about the whole CFO issue. Sure, if the CFO is off $24 million, that's one thing. Maybe Uncle Nearest has a claim against the CFO, but it's still a representation by the company. Basically saying Fawn can't rely on this CFO issue to get out of this default. She's in default. And then the court ended by saying, I want to know more about who the receiver is. You've got until August 20th to tell me. And my gag order stays in effect until then. So I think there's been some murmuring online about whether she's still under the gag order, since it said it's only in effect for a certain amount of time. Well, the judge extended it, so the gag order is there. The gag order basically says she can't, and it talks about social media too. You can't do social media. You can't do it in writing. You can't do it in statements to the press. You basically can't talk about these proceedings. You can't talk about the proceedings, the lender's collateral, the proposed receivership, the assets, without permission or approval from the court. So whether she's violating it, I don't know. The lender hasn't filed a motion for contempt. That's what they would have to do. They would have to attach some of these Instagram and TikTok posts to say that she's violating it. They haven't done that, so maybe they don't think she's violating it. But the order of the way it's worded, she's not supposed to talk about the proceedings, and I don't know. It kind of looks like she is.
Yeah. Well, I think most
and then,
of it.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's a pretty good conversation, and a lot of people in that industry, this is the talk right now, because it really is where Uncle Nearest goes. So goes a lot of these other similar companies. And like I said, again, that industry is really getting hit hard right now. So it's not just Uncle Nearest, it's other industries, other similar businesses as well. So we're going to continue to keep an eye on that. But I'll just repeat basically real quick what I said in the last video that I did on this, is that, the buck stops with her. Ultimately, the buck stops with her. Okay. She took on the name of a Black American man who was, again, did not get his props. It was Jim Beam who basically took him in, basically because Nearest Green knew what he was doing. Jim Beam clearly did not. And so he helped produce what we know today as Jim Beam, and helped grow this whole whiskey industry to where it is today. But not too many people even knew that Nearest Green was really the brainchild that really helped put it firmly on the map, when Kentucky and all of that. And so, being a leader in this. And so this lady came around and basically, like I said earlier, met with the family. They did their, talked it out or whatever, and she decided to take on the family name and to basically to carry his legacy. Now, she's done some, from what I can see, some really good things. Like, she has a school where she teaches people how to master this area, when it comes to making whiskeys and stuff like that. And she specifically targets Black folks in doing that. And she has, I'm sure she has like some kind of on-site museum, and other things to commemorate this man and all of that. All that's good. She also has something set aside for the family, anybody in the Green family, that, if they ever want to go to college, the college is completely paid for. And I'm sure there's some other financial arrangements and stuff that's made. And all of that's good. All of that's good. That's why I said when we cover topics like that, we want to make sure we talk about all of it, right? The good and the bad. But at the end of the day, this buck still stops with you. And when we peel back the layers, we're seeing that, there was an issue where you just, that's not your strength, and when it comes to managing the behind the scenes, particularly when it comes to the money, you know what I'm saying? And that's really what it comes down to. And, that's it. And so now the name of Nearest Green is once again being taken over and buried by now in this case, we got banks doing it, right? And so, I would not be surprised if the Green family takes her to court over that. I wouldn't be surprised at that, unless there's some kind of situation arrangement that they made on that. But bottom line, what's the moral of the story to all of this? And we're going to move on to the next story. Is that because I was thinking about this, I said, if my father, or if I had a relative, came up with a great product or whatever, and it was the same situation, and someone came to me and said, hey, listen, I know you don't want to do this, but I got the resources, blah, blah, blah. Can I take this thing and still, you can have some say in it, blah, blah, blah. Would I do that? Would I sign over on that? And I said, I kind of thought about that, and I would say, especially with a story like this, most likely not. You know what I'm saying? Because people do change, especially when money is on the table. People change, and it's just what it is. And so, so be careful of that. If you are in a situation like that where your family has a product or something that they developed, and then someone else wants to come around and say, hey, listen, I don't care the person's black or whatever. It doesn't matter. You need to do whatever you need to do to protect your family name. Keep all of it in-house. And when I say in-house, I mean people in the family. Don't allow people from outside the family come in and try to take over your family name. I don't care how many good intentions they have. Don't ever do that. So that's one of the lessons that I'm learning and being reminded of in this particular story here, which I thought was, it's just really interesting. And, like I said, again, things like this we can all learn from and keep it moving. That's it. I don't have to be anything else but that. Just a learning experience. Okay, so anyway, let's move on and let's get to this story regarding Altadena. Altadena. Now, as you know, we did a video on this as well. I used to live in Pasadena, which is right across the highway from Altadena. City of Altadena is in LA County, and it is historically, or at least part of it is historically black community. A lot of black folks just back in the day used to live in that area, moved in that area because many of them worked as like caretakers, maids and things like that, for people within LA. So this was, at that time, this is the place that black folks would go and live, right? And, when homes were cheaper, and so over time, of course, California being California, the values kept going up and up and up. These homes are older, obviously, but, some of these homes, if you take a look at them, they're quite sizable. May not look palatial as you may envision it, but a lot of them are quite sizable. Some of these homes are multi-family homes. I was just looking at one today in Altadena. I was like, man, that's pretty nice. It's like I said, again, it's an older home, but man, it's pretty nice. It's against the San Gabriel Mountains. I think that's San Gabriel Mountains back there. It does get pretty warm out there, in that Pasadena area. But, if you like LA, you will love it there. And so, but this is an area where black folks lived. A lot of black folks live. And they've been in these homes, have been in for these black people who own homes there, it had been in their family for at least a couple of generations. So when the fire came, like it took out the Palisades section, which is going out a little bit, it also swept and took a lot of this community, Altadena, which you have a lot of, black folks that have been there for a good minute. And so what they did was they, of course, the houses are gone. They were moving black people, the other, everybody that lived there, they were moving them to the next town, which is Arcadia. Arcadia is next to there. So you have people from Arcadia, which is a significant Asian population, and they were coming through and helping folks, helping black folks and other people who lived in Altadena, food drives, the whole nine. And they had black folks, had people staying in nearby hotels and all that. But of course, that couldn't last but so long, right? And so now, I want you to think about this for a second. You got a home. Your grandmother, maybe had purchased this home way back when. You haven't had to make a house payment in years because now you own a home outright. But your home now is if you had to buy your home and you lived in Altadena, most people wouldn't been able to afford it, because now it's like $1 million, $2 million, you know what I mean? And so you get this fire that goes through, burns down your house. Now you're looking at a whole new building project, which comes with a lot of fees and everything else. A lot of people don't have that kind of money sitting in the bank to rebuild an entire new house. So what happens is, unfortunately, people have to make a hard choice. They are more than likely going to have to relocate. And if you haven't been making house payments in years and years and years, there aren't too many places in Southern California that you can move to that's going to actually be affordable. You know what I mean? It's just, that's going to be a tough one. So, you know, I'm just really interested in where those people have relocated to. But California is a very expensive place, very, very expensive place to live. And particularly in Southern California, and especially in LA County. You know, I would even dare say going out to Lancaster, which is much further out, that's a lot. It's still going to be a lot. And Lord knows you don't want to go out to California City, which is all the way out in the desert. So, you know, there weren't too many options for these people is what I'm saying. So anyway, so somebody actually did a little digging, and they found out that the city of LA, which is under the mayorship of Karen Bass, well, she, and along with Gavin Newsom, unfortunately, they have been leaving the door wide open while they've been handing millions and millions of dollars to illegal immigrants. It don't matter which, you know, illegals, people in this country illegally, while they've been opening up the coffers for them. Meanwhile, you got investors that have been coming in and literally sweeping up and buying up all these properties. Now, there's enough going around that I have been looking at, I'm sure many of you, where people believe that, yeah, these fires were very intentional for this particular purpose, so that other investors can come in and then they can reconfigure these cities to make them into smart cities. They've been talking about doing this stuff for years. So that's why none of this really is too surprising for most people that it happened. You know what I mean? But anyway, let me get to this one video that I found. I'm trying to see where did I save it? It was a video. It's under Altadena. So let me do a search on that. Altadena. There we go. And I want you to listen to this guy, and let's take a listen. And he's going to explain a little bit of what's going on. And then I'm going to show you some paperwork on that too, to kind of confirm, you know, in part of what he's saying here. So we will go to the browser there, and let's take a listen to what he is saying. Okay.
All right, so for all the haters out there who are accusing me of fear-mongering, saying that the Chinese aren't buying up all of the property in the LA fire zones, let me just run some of these names by you. This is a full printout of every real estate transaction in Altadena since the LA fires. Tell me, do these names sound American? Shangfeng Global, Keen Su Ming, Ling Wang, Ying Wang, Yin Yang JL USA Inc. Names like these account for 28%, over 28% of the total transactions in Altadena. So, am I fair?
Yeah, so there you go. You got the gist of it, what he's saying. And yeah, I did verify that yes, it looks like it is about 28% of those homes. And, you know, again, in the city of Altadena, are being scooped up by, among others, Chinese investors. Okay. And it just really is something, and it should cause some great pause for many of us, that we will live in a day right now where you have a black mayor that is greenlighting all of this and don't even care. In fact, the contractors that the person that she hired, the company that she hired to kind of manage all of this, is a company that they're still fighting lawsuits in other areas where they were doing stuff. They were very shady. They have a very shady past. And here this black mayor gave them a full green light to continue what they're doing. And this woman is willing to go to full war against the federal government over people who are in this country illegally. But here you have a case where you got a black, historically black community in her own county and in her own city area, you know, and nothing, absolutely not. Now, she's the mayor, and to be specific here, she is not the mayor of Altadena. Okay, she's the mayor of LA. However, her and Gavin Newsom have been working together to make sure that Chinese investors can come in, and not just Chinese investors. I'm going to show you a chart here in a moment from the National Real Estate Association on who's buying these properties here. Let me go ahead and get this screen up here right now so you can see for yourself. This from the NAR. Major destinations for foreign buyers from China. 36% of the foreign buyers are heading to California. 9% in Maryland. I'm going to get to that in a moment. And then 9% in New York. And then it goes down from there. So you got Chinese that are sweeping in. Florida is the top, 48% from from buyers from Canada. So Canadians are sweeping into Florida, followed by Arizona and then California, 9%. Let's see, foreign buyers from Mexico, 40% are buying homes in Texas, 17% are buying homes in California, and 10% in Arizona. Let's see, now from India, 13% Texas, 13% California, 13% Arizona, and then it goes down from there. Okay, so let me get back to this Maryland thing for just a moment here. Now, Maryland, what's going on with that? Now, this is something very important I want you to pay attention to. Okay, now what's going on? Why is that important? Because in Maryland, which is we're going to consider that the DC area, because of, you know, again, what Trump has been doing with the federal government, literally sweeping out, cleaning out house, the home availability has been going up because a lot of people are losing their jobs, right? Especially black folks. When we saw the numbers about over 300,000 black women alone have lost their jobs, many of those women lived in that area, right? The what you call it, the centerpiece, if you will, of the black middle class in this country is the DC, Maryland area. Most of the black middle class, what we call the middle class in black America, most of it is funded by the federal government. We did a whole video on this and talked about how insane that is. What culture do you know whose income is centered around the federal government that you don't even control? Isn't that crazy? But here we are. And we gave the history behind why that is. But anyway, I'm not going to redo that video. But so what's happening is a lot of folks are losing their homes or having to sell the homes. And yes, there is a significant percentage of black folks who are losing their homes. But guess who's standing right there to scoop them up? Here we go again. China. The Chinese are once again, they're sitting right there and say, we'll take them. We'll buy them. And I don't care if it's the Chinese or not. Some people want to spin the story like, oh, it's the Chinese. Listen, I don't care if it's the Canadians and the Mexicans and the Indians. I don't care. But what I am explaining to you is how everything, a lot of what black folks have built, this middle class has built, is now being taken away just like that. Because the strategy of the black community was that we were going to build most of our wealth on the federal government. Now I'm talking in the Maryland area. California, unfortunately, that's a different story there. That's a different story because these people actually owned their homes, right? And then they had to send a fire to get them up out of there. So just something to think about there, how the world works. And, but we also talked about in the other video about this stuff that Trump is doing just in DC. For those of you who own homes, if anybody, you got any family, cousins or whoever that own homes in places like Washington, DC, remember you got that Chocolate City section there, right? You got black folks who've owned homes there. Those homes and those communities that they may own homes, it may have a lot of crime there. But if you still got the paperwork and you still own those homes, you want to make sure that those homes stay in the family, because what's going to happen next is that as crime goes down, guess what? Home values go up. So there's different ways that you can look at this. And if Trump is saying, hey, listen, we're going to make this a road show. We're going to go to Chicago. We're going to go to this city. We're going to go to that city. If that happens, again, as I've said before, I am very mixed about what Trump is doing. I am in agreement in getting rid of crime and putting your foot down to that. I am 110% for that all day and all night. What I'm not really cool with is the federal government doing it, because once you get the federal government involved, it's a whole wrap. And it's just, we have entered into another place that none of us want to be. So that's why I'm not really like rah-rahing this stuff, because I know where this is going to go. You know what I'm saying? But in the meantime, like I said, if you own property in these cities and they're talking about going this drastic to reduce crime, it may do well for some of y'all who own property in these cities, because your values will be going up if crime does go down like that. So that's just something to think about. Okay. All right. As we're wrapping this up here, I got two things. We want to end on a good note this evening. Let's see. This is under robotics here. I thought this was an interesting video here. We've been talking about the importance of, black folks getting into things like robotics. I'm talking about particularly younger people. If you're trying to figure out what you want to do, robotics is a good field to get into, because this is going to be the thing, you know what I mean? And you want to make sure that you're not left behind. All right. So this is an interesting video that I came across here. Hold on. I get my volume up. This is how advanced these things have become. This is a video of a young man. He's pretending that he's boxing with one. Look at this. Look at the agility of this thing. Uh-oh.
Hey, bro, back there, you gonna get them.
Oh, shoot.
Ain't nothing to play with. 5,000. I would have thought it was more than that. Ooh, cuz, you gonna fight me. Are you trying some jiu-jitsu now?
I don't know. He gonna get back up. Yeah. Oh, snap. He said he ready. He bringing all the smoke.
Hey, we got hot coffee here.
Put a magnet to your head.
This thing is crazy.
He said he ready for all that digital smoke. But anyway, I thought that was something. But these things have we've been watching this stuff. We've done a couple of lives where we talked about robotics and all of that here, and and really stressing that, hey, this is something that people need to be looking into. Another thing is things like plumbing and welding. I want to do a video on that and talk about that, and and provide some information on let people know, hey, listen, these are areas that you need to be looking into, you know what I mean? And if you're looking for, something that's going to give you some level of job security, robotics would be one for sure, but also things like plumbing, welding, being an electrician. These things are still viable positions that still have some level of longevity to it. Let me go to this last one here. This is under our good vibes section here. I thought this was another beautiful video of a black family just living their lives and just having a lot of fun. Check out this video here. In this case here, this black family, the father, he is a pilot. And I tell you, I see these small planes all the time, and I'm like, I would love to do it, but you know, you always see the stories where they crash, you know what I mean? But you can't really think that way because cars crash all the time too, you know? But anyway, check this out.
Hey. Y'all ready?
Ready. Mommy. I'm about to both of you.
Go Juliet, turn right heading 180.
Daddy, got you.
Oh, see you.
November 89 Sierra, Birmingham approach, Birmingham, altimeter 300.
Hello.
The flight down only takes about an hour, 20 minutes. Really sunny, pretty day. Few clouds, no problem. Landing on runway 18 at Stennis, one of our favorite airports.
Ready?
Yeah.
Ready.
Entering Millionaire. The view from the restaurant.
Hey, boy. Quick trip to lunch. It's good?
What's that they
Family
got on that
time is the
plate?
best time.
Ain't that nice? That's nice. I'm gonna look them up and see if I can find out more about them. But anyway, yeah, that's really nice to see. You know, there's a lot of negative stuff that's going on, and unfortunately, you got to get into it and sort through it and try to get rid of the negative stuff, the bad stuff, but there's also some good things going on too, and that's what we try to, you know, make sure we're showing a little bit of both of that here on this platform. So again, that is all I have for you guys. Again, thank you so much. Remember, Samba Tree, we're still running that sale, 27% off selected products. Head on over there now to sambatree.com. Thank you so much for tuning in this evening. I know we were a little late here, but hey, that's, you know, life happens. Okay. So again, thank you so much. You guys take care, and I'll see you again in the next video. Take care now.